It's going to cost nearly $100 million to stage, and it'll take about 2 weeks to complete negotiations, provided they even succeed. But is there any point to the most important climate change talks for years if they don't conclude with a legally binding treaty on limiting global warming? Well, the US says there will not be one. France says there has to be one. And this split cuts to the heart of the climate change debate, as CCTV's Owen Fairclough reports.
These scientists say they're in a race against time, finding out just how fast global warming is melting polar ice caps and changing the chemistry of the world's oceans. Each could contribute to the destruction of ecosystems across the world.
The Arctic changes have influences that go far beyond the Arctic itself and will particularly affect the North Atlantic and possibly even the ocean as a whole.
An international climate change conference in Paris at the end of this month is supposed to set binding targets to limit global warming. But US Secretary of State John Kerry told the Financial Times any deal wouldn't be legally binding, like the previous Kyoto Treaty. The US signed but didn't ratify it into law. And there you have the conundrum. A legally binding treaty should have clearly enforceable targets that help reduce emissions and limit climate change. Without a legally binding treaty, it's very difficult to enforce those targets. So far, action plans submitted by around 155 countries fall short of the target to stop global warming reaching dangerous levels. France, the host of the negotiations, says the US position has serious ramifications.
If there is not a binding accord, there will not be an accord, because it will mean it's not possible to check or monitor the commitments that have been made. So I understand that the United States has problems with its Congress, and those are quite legitimate. I know how difficult it is, but we must give the Paris Agreement, if there is an agreement, binding powers, in the sense that the commitments that have been made must be kept and respected.
These scientists on board the Amundsen are a world away from the politics of climate change. But they say they're already witnessing the impact of rising temperatures at the top of the world, where at least one shipping company believes melting ice has created a much shorter route from China to Europe. Owen Fairclough, CCTV, Washington.